Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Mike Chua, physical therapist, certified dementia practitioner, and your alternative career coach. Welcome to our career healthcare podcast and show, where we talk about different ways to find your alternative career and achieve both work and financial freedom. So visit our website, drmikechua.com or alternativehealthcarecareers.com for more information. Again, thank you for watching and listening. Welcome to our show. Be awesome, be great, be excellent, ACG. Have a great day and enjoy the show. Bye-bye. All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen in Alternative Careers Group. As you can see, I'm drinking my coffee. We are live here in the Alternative Careers Group, and we are going to talk about how to start your Airbnb side hustle. This morning, we have Miss Brenda, Bryson, Miss Melanie, and Lisa, where we will ask them how they started their own side hustle called Airbnb or whatever you call that. So if you are watching live, please comment live. And of course, as usual, if you are watching on the replay, please comment replay. And I guess I'm just going to stop that music and then we're going to go. I'm just playing around. I'm going to stop the screen share. There you go. Let me add the other people in our what do you call this? Zoom meeting link. I'm adding Stacy. I'm promoting Betsy and Stacy and Melanie and Lisa. Well, again, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. If you are watching live, I'm looking at my cell phone to see if there are people in the group watching. But good morning. Today, we're going to be talking about how to start your side hustle. So I'm going to call all our beautiful ladies individually on where they are and what do they actually do for as a professional, and why did they started that side hustle. All right, I'm going to probably start with Miss Brenda. Miss Brenda, could you tell us where you're from? What do you do professionally? And why did you start this side hustle of Airbnb? Why is it Airbnb? Why? I know bed and breakfast.
That's just the name of the booking service I use. So there's other names of, VRBO, or there's different sites. Airbnb has just been around for a while, and that's the one that I use. I'm in Texas. I'm in rural Texas. I'm about an hour outside of San Antonio. I'm near Fredericksburg, which is a good tourist destination. I'm about 20 minutes away from there. And so I live on 3 acres. This started out as
3 acres.
3 acres,
Wow.
which it's not much for Texas.
Oh, is it not? I'm Filipino, so my measurement is what do you call this? Not metric or whatever you call that. English,
right? Yes.
Okay.
So
I'm thinking of 3 hectares. Okay.
Yeah, it's not sections; it's acres. Yeah. I own a myofascial release PT clinic. So I'm a physical therapist and a massage therapist. So I have a clinic that's about 30 minutes away from my house. And I actually do have, this house works really well for me. The master had a street entry. And so I've turned that into a second office. And so I have the office, and then the back got big shade trees, and I just love being back there. So I really just wanted a she shed for me, and to put a vintage trailer back there, I thought was really fun. And then after I spent all this money, like putting in a septic and like getting it all set up, I thought, I should maybe rent this a little and just, recoup a little money. And I really did not think it would rent very much, but I've had it open for 2 years and it rents every weekend.
Oh, wow.
So
how much do you rent it?
this is a vintage travel trailer that sleeps 2 people. So it's a 1967, and I've gone with the era. It's not like white and, completely refurbished. It's avocado green and,
avocado green. I hope it's not what you call this. What do you call this? Mold? What do you call that?
No, it's clean.
Oh, it's clean.
It's just old, and so I went with vintage like chenille fabrics and stuff like that.
Oh, wow. Wow.
But it rents for about $75 a night.
Not bad, right?
No, I don't fee people to death. I don't charge them $300 to, I don't want it to be so cheap that you're going to come and trash my trailer, but most people are very respectful. And I don't have a minimum. I really just want them there on the weekend. So it's a 1 night or a 2 night stay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was just looking at my numbers on the app. So for June, I've made $710 off one trailer. Still
not bad, right?
So I have a second Glamper trailer that's on, they're back to back in the back. And that one's going to start renting next weekend. So I've used quarantine to sort of expand and just it's far enough away from the house that it doesn't feel like they're part of the house. But my ultimate goal is to have retreats at the house and have a place for people to stay. But the rest of the time, it's just Airbnb and people can kind of, come and go.
You mentioned the word glamping. So is that what you call it? Glamorous camping?
Glamorous camping. Yeah, I'm so glamorous, but it's set up and it's, it's not like you're having to set up a tent. It has air conditioning. It has a shower. It has amenities, but yet you're still outside. A lot of people use it they go shopping in Fredericksburg and, it's a reasonable place to stay and I don't require a 2 night minimum. So I'm just slowly turning my whole area into a way to pay for the mortgage and taxes on the house. Like that's really my goal, is to cover. I got divorced last year and I love this house, but I don't really love paying for all of it. And so I feel like as a practice owner, if that takes the pressure off me, I'm good. And so that's really my goal. And then I have a garage apartment I'm turning into a loft. So I'll have 3 units. There you go.
Just make your own little.
Because they're all separate. They're not inside the house. So I don't feel like,
their own separate thing, right? So
right. People are coming and going, but they're not inside my house and it's separate enough that I can still feel comfortable at home and it's not really an issue.
Perfect. Well, thank you for sharing that, Miss Brenda. Appreciate you. And again, if you are watching live, please comment live, ladies and gentlemen, because we want to know if you're watching live or if we want to know if we are helping you. And of course, if you're watching on the replay, please comment replay. Well, the next person we're going to reach out and talk to is Miss Melanie. Miss Melanie, you're already unmuted, but please tell us where you're from. What do you do as a profession, and what made you do your Airbnb or whatever you call that, right?
Right. Okay. So I'm a PT, but I've recently transitioned, so I don't do treatments anymore. I work as a therapy consultant.
No way.
So I help especially a lot of small businesses, and I actually manage practice remotely for the owner. And actually, I just started about 2 weeks ago. I actually do demo training for Hello Note now. So they actually hired me because I learned their system for one of my clients, and now they contacted me and they actually said, well, our system as well as we do. So I actually do demos on the side for them as well.
Hey, I think we're going to reach out to you because Steve and I are talking about hiring some VA. So we got to talk about that too.
Okay.
So
all right, we can do that.
Well, let's go back to Airbnb.
Okay. So I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona. Before I stopped treating, I was actually a traveling therapist for many years. And I started maybe 6 years ago, came my first time to the Phoenix area during the winter and just fell in love with it during the winter. So next winter came back again. And the second winter I was here, everybody hikes the prices in the winter. So I was kind of like, I could own a place here in this area and, kind of use it as a rental for cheaper than I would be paying to come back every winter and pay the skyrocketed prices. So I actually purposely bought a 2-bedroom condo for the point of being able to use it and then still rent it out as well. So my situation's a little different. I'm not out in the middle of nowhere, kind of out in the acreage anywhere. But I'm like a mile from Old Scottsdale. So I'm like prime area. I walk everywhere. Like I rarely drive anymore at all. I can walk to everything.
Oh, wow.
And
wow.
So the one thing is a little different. I'm in a condo complex. So there is a requirement for 1 month minimal rentals as part of our association. So I do rent on Airbnb, and I get people that want to come for a month or several that have stayed longer or just found me that way. But I rent month to month. And I also am on the travel nursing sites and some of those sites. So I get a lot of travel nurses that are looking, especially in the wintertime, and they do 3 months at a time. So it's great for me because I have 3 month, people staying, and it's a, more of a consistent, base as far as the way I'm doing. It's a little different. But since I bought it, I've rarely had the room empty. And when I was a traveler and I'd leave in the summertime, I'd just rent the whole thing out as a whole, 2-bedroom. I'd lower the price because it's summertime here. But otherwise, while I'm here, I actually rent out the master. I live upstairs in the second room because I'm gone a lot, or I travel a lot myself, and it pays my mortgage and my condo fees, and prime time here is during the winter, and actually I pay everything and make a little on the side just for the price of the room. So my rental is the cost is I get between $1,000 and $1,400 a month, depending on the time of year.
Oh wow! Yeah. It's still, I mean, for those people who are watching in the Facebook group, again, there's money doing this. And if it's called what do you call this? I hear it in Bigger Pockets podcast. It's called house hacking. House hacking, wherein you let other people pay for your mortgage. And before we bought our house here, there was somebody renting it. They were renting it for, I think, $1,500. And of course, we didn't tell them to leave because it was $1,500, and our mortgage is like $1,000. So we were earning $500. I'm like, okay, yeah, not bad. So I think we just have to open up our minds and look at for all the opportunities out there. In that way, you can at least get an extra money and even actually pay for your mortgage and make extra more. So that's what Miss Melanie has done. So thank you for sharing, Miss Melanie. Appreciate you. All right. Again, if you are watching live again, ladies and gentlemen, please comment live. We want to see if you are here. And again, the next person we're going to be calling out is, I see Stacy. Oh gosh, the beautiful Miss Stacy Miller. Please go ahead and unmute your microphone. Please tell us where you're from, what do you do, and what kind of Airbnb side hustle you do.
Hi. So I live in Johnson City, Tennessee, and it's a good attraction because it's very close to a lot of activities. So we are just a few minutes from Jonesboro, which is the oldest town in Tennessee. And so a lot of people visit there. They have a storytelling convention every year. So we get a lot of people for that. Bristol Motor Speedway is about 30 minutes from us. And then there's just a lot going on in Johnson City. So many different activities that are yearly. Now, of course, that's been a little affected this year. But we started our Airbnb about 2 years ago. We needed to move into a different home that was all one level, at least. My daughter and I both have very progressive diseases. And so we needed to be able to just have something flat. Well, we came across that the living space is all flat. We can come straight in and everything is great for our needs. But it also came with a downstairs fully furnished suite area. So it's got a fully furnished kitchen, living room, game space, fully shower tub, bathroom, 2 rooms. And then it has our second garage down there that can be either a private entrance or an emergency exit that I typically call it. So we were like, well, that's perfect. We can just rent that out. Now it is in our home, but we utilize codes to get into each door, and we change those codes after every person. And so that kind of helps our security. We also added cameras to our entrances. And of course, we make sure that our Airbnb customers know that there are only cameras on the entrances, just to kind of keep our safety and their safety. But, that worked out well. And after doing Airbnb for a little bit, we decided to venture into VRBO as well. It's also
VRBO means
vacation rental by owner.
Vacation rental by owner. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was some sort of a medical term, like a vastus rectus.
It could
vastus.
Be. I'm sure that's out there. Yes.
VRBO. But I've been hanging out with some DPT students now. I'm like, oh, I'm so what's called this, bombarded with all these medical terms that they're telling me. So
right.
VRBO, vacation rental
by owner. Sometimes you'll see it as home away, but they work a little bit different. People tend to want to use Airbnb because the customer wants to. Also VRBO tends to take out a little bit more commission on you just using their site to get people in. So, but with using both of them, we're able to get across to more people out there. Let's see. So we charge $65 a night for the entire downstairs. And what we ended up doing was making it a very fun area. We have a pool table down there, foosball, a very sporty area, PlayStation 4, things like that. And then because we have children as well, there's a kids area, an artsy area that we made. And then there's also a full playroom. And then we offer extra air mattresses we can blow up if it's more than one or more than 2 to 3 people. So we do that, and that helps. Now, of course, Corona stuff kind of stopped a lot of the travel for a little while, so we lost a little bit of that income. However, both companies were wonderful and offered some assistance on that, almost like a small business, kind of like they were doing for small businesses. So we were able to assist with that. The other great thing with the VRBO and the Airbnb, particularly that it's in our house, we can utilize that for our taxes. That's true. We get to claim 10% of our utilities every year as part of a business expense. And so that takes off some of that that we can reclaim. We also, anytime I buy anything for down there, whether it be water bottles, I also provide like little essential travel things, much like you would have at a hotel or something. Yep. But if I see those on sale anywhere, like the little things, I grab them and then keep the receipt, and you claim every bit of that as a business expense. Sheets, and one way that we save and make it more clean for them, I make sure to get white sheets and white towels and washcloths and stuff, and that way I can bleach every bit of that and just provide an extra. And we let them know that, one, if they maybe allergic or it bothers them, but I do make sure that they know that we bleach everything every time. And then of course, just that, I show them the cleaning products that we utilize and our cleaning list and things like that. So,
where do you show the cleaning products? Is it on the website of VRBO, or you just send them a picture, hey, or something like that?
We keep it downstairs. There's a list that just kind of shows them. I am a very OCD, and so everything in my house is labeled. Probably even the refrigerator's labeled as, hey, this is the refrigerator. No, I'm not that bad. But everything is organized downstairs to where they can see this is in here, like the fire extinguisher is in here, and we make a list of, like I said, to show them where the fire alarms are, the emergency exit, things like that, to make it easy. We also installed, since those windows are a little bit lower, we installed our security system down there for any type of breakage to the windows. We make sure that they see that they understand that, to make them feel more comfortable. So it's we kind of want to make them feel great when I contact them. We make sure to let them know, please let me know anything that I can do just to kind of make the stay better. And then the great thing about it too, with both sites, you do have the choice of either doing automatic booking, or you have to approve the booking. So what's great about that is, of course, you can put it on your calendar when you can't book. Like, say we're going to go on vacation. We typically, if we're going to be gone for a while, we don't have people coming. But you can also, the person can ask to have these certain dates, and I can just kind of see if it fits in our schedule best. And then, you can pre-approve. So that helps me. Now, the site suggests that you do automatic booking, but this works best for us. So we just maintain the pre-approval. So let's see. I don't think there's anything else. We have phenomenal neighbors that allow us to utilize their extra driveway. So then when we have people, we let them use our driveway and we use our neighbor's driveway.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So that helps for them to have direct access. And then my best friend runs her own Airbnb here. And that helps in that if somebody's wanting, a certain time dates that I can't provide, I'll say, ooh, check her out, or vice versa. And so we kind of help each other run that business. Or like, for instance, her cleaning lady called in and she was going to have somebody else. So I ran over there and cleaned for her real quick, and vice versa. So that helps too, to maybe reach out and see who around you, and you can kind of gang up together to help each other out. We've only had one bad experience, but it wasn't necessarily someone the young mother had reached out on Airbnb, but she had let us know that she was just evicted and she had 2 small children. And so we just kind of said, just stay down there. We did not want to charge. But she ended up kind of stealing some of our daughter's toys. So that was, and like I said, that was not, it wasn't technically through Airbnb, because we just said, we're not going to charge you. But so those are things that's when we installed the cameras and things like that. So, but Airbnb and VRBO both provide liability. They do provide, but the trick with Airbnb is you have to claim it within 24 hours. You have to claim it within 2 weeks or 24 hours before the next person comes in order for it to be a claim. So like, say that somebody stole your TV or broke your TV or things like that, furniture, anything. You have to claim that within 2 weeks or 24 hours of the next person coming in. So those are some of the good things. The other, Airbnb also allows you to become a super host, and it kind of bumps
I've heard that term.
Yeah. It bumps your place up towards the front a little bit more to be seen in that area. However, if you were to cancel a booking, you are charged for that, and you lose your super host.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
that's where I like the having to choose.
Are you a super host? I guess,
yes.
right? You are?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. The student that where he lived at is a super host, and I went inside his house or his apartment, and it was really nice and really good. Everything is there.
Yeah, and it has to do with your ratings. Everybody rates you as they leave. You rate them as well, and that's something else you can look back on. In fact, one of the people that they were trying to book with us, we were able to look back at her ratings, and there weren't some good ones in there. There were not some very good comments about this person.
So it's like a two-way thing too, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anything about it. That's why.
Yeah.
So you're gonna rate that that client or that customer.
Yes.
So that way you could see too if they're good. Okay.
Yes.
But
So
my student was telling me, oh, they're gonna rate me too. I said, well, let's go ahead and trash your place. No, just kidding.
There you go.
It's like, no, they're gonna rate me too, Michael. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, oops. Yeah. So that way we can also, in fact, with that person, we just said, I'm sorry, but we cannot accommodate your request to stay. You have to give a reason, and you can choose kind of your reason, but we did go ahead and say
discrimination or whatever you call that too, right?
But we did kind of say, I'm sorry, but your past experiences, we just don't feel comfortable with that. Okay. They also are verified by Airbnb. They check their
background,
license and everything like that. Kind of make sure no felonies.
It's true.
Like that. So we can utilize that as well. So that's very helpful too.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you, Stacy, for sharing that experience. I don't know if you heard or if you were watching live, please comment live. But if you are listening to Stacy's whatever you call that, share or lecture or talk about her experience with Airbnb, she mentioned about taxes. If you have a business like this, you can declare it as taxes. There are a lot of things that you can declare. Obviously, she mentioned about electricity, utilities, water, even probably your phone and internet, your bed sheets, your everything, almost everything that you can use in household, technically, quote unquote, you can declare it. If she mentioned water bottles, guess what? Water bottles, whatever, cleaning supplies. That's the beauty of owning your own business.
Yes.
You can declare that in your taxes, and that's the advantages of owning a business. So not because you're serious. It is what it is. That's how business owners work. There is a question here. Well, I just want to give a special shout out for those people who are watching. I know Bert is watching. Lacey, thank you very much for watching. Miss Brenda, who's actually in this call, is also watching. Carolyn, Emmanuel Canlas from New York. Rishu, hello, Rishu. Karen, hello. The master Stephen Dunn is here. And Eric has a question. Oh, Eric, Erwin. Before I read Erwin's question, I want to give a shout out to my teacher, Dr. Sue Klappa. Thank you very much, Dr. Sue, for watching. But Erwin's question is, how do you deal with people now, especially people who are asymptomatic of COVID? Maybe I can ask Melanie, since Stacy has a different room, so I don't think she just has to disinfect it when they leave. But how about you, Melanie? You're
I'm like I said, I do the month by month. So I've actually had the same guy that's been here. He's been here since like January. So he's just basically, I almost call him like my roommate now, because I end up getting people for a longer period of time. So actually I haven't even had to. He's just literally like, it's me and him in the condo. So I haven't really had to think about it. It would just be like living with a spouse or a child, someone else in the home. So
your situation is different, right? Because
Right,
like family for 3 months.
Right. Yeah. Mine's set up different. I don't have to and literally, yeah, they use my entire, home. And I bought this as a second property. So for as far as writing things off when we talked about that, yeah, I write, my mortgage. I have tons of write-offs because this is not my primary residence. This
Bam.
is a true vacation
there you go.
rental.
Yep.
So yeah.
Writing it off, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Well,
I'll add too that like right now we have a travel nurse, and she was wonderful. She asked beforehand, how do you feel about that? And I said, my only thing would be, we have a space for you to take your shoes off before you enter. And then we absolutely offer her the washer and dryer whenever she needs and things like that. So, but other than that, our children aren't involved in going down there or anything like that. And so I have time to go in and kind of, disinfect before, but because she does enter in through the same way we enter, that was the only thing. And she was like, oh my gosh, we do that anyway. So that's kind of how we do it.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's every situation is different. It depends upon your risk, your risk tolerance, your risk level. So, all right. Well, thank you very much for answering that, Miss Melanie and Miss Stacy. The next person we're going to call out is Miss Lisa. Miss Lisa, are you going to share? Do you have an Airbnb? There you go, Miss Lisa. Could you tell us where you're from? What do you do? And what's your experience with Airbnb-ing? Or is there a term Airbnb-ing or VRBOing?
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm not sure how I got listed as one of the presenters because I don't do Airbnb. I wanted to be on here to learn about Airbnb, but thank you. I'll wait for my commission check in the mail. When can I expect that?
Well, that's good. That's good. So do you have any questions with regards to Airbnb-ing?
Yeah, actually I do, because I was an occupational therapist for 25 years. And then unfortunately got diagnosed with a very aggressive terminal cancer about 18 months ago. And I was told I had 6 months, and I've been here 18 months and I'm still fighting. But what's happening for me is, losing my salary has been significant. Thank God I have a supportive spouse, but it's been huge, emotionally, physically, psychologically. So I'm constantly trying to think, okay, what can I do to continue to support us so that I'm, not leaving him bankrupt? Because my disease has a 5% chance of a 5-year survival. So I really want to do something. And when I saw that you guys had this, I thought, well, let me just learn more and see what I can do to get started, because we're actually looking at moving. Because my current treatment right now, I live in Syracuse, New York, but my current treatment, I fly all the way across the country to MD Anderson, Texas, because my cancer is so rare. It's like one of the only doctors that treats it. So anyway, I wanted to think about, okay, let's think outside the box. Maybe we could go somewhere, buy a place, and then rent it out, and make some money doing Airbnb, because we would likely be in a big city where there could be, I would love to help the traveling therapy industry. So we're looking at possibly moving to Charlotte, North Carolina, or somewhere outside of Texas. So those would be both places that there'd be a lot of traveling therapists. So I was basically on here just to see if I can, consult with people and just find out how to even begin, how to start this process, because I have no idea.
All right. Well, first of all, I'm so sorry about what you're going through. I know it's a big challenge, but always remember that the bigger the challenge, the bigger the victory. You just caught me there, but we're here to help. I don't know what faith you believe in. I'll keep you in my prayers. I'm going to put your name down here, and
thank you.
And what you call this? You just hang in there, okay? We've got Stacy and Brenda. I'm sure Melanie also is very open to teach you how to do this Airbnb, and we may not be able to help you a lot when it comes to what you're going through, but when it comes to Airbnb, I'm sure I talk to Stacy all the time. I talk to Brenda all the time. Ask them questions. Maybe they can walk you through how to open up an account through Airbnb or VRBO. I think that's the main challenge there, the technology. Once you've gone through and moved through and pushed through with that technology, I think it's going to be easier for you, because all you need to do is just set up the place and then boom, you just click yes if you're going to accept that person or not. So, and I really applaud you for doing this, even though you have that big challenge. You're still looking for ways how to help not only yourself but also to help your family. And I think you being a therapist is being a therapist right now. You are not looking to be helped. You're looking to help somebody, and you're looking to help your family. And I really applaud you for that. And all of a sudden, I shift my gear to being serious. I'm sorry. All right. Okay. You hang in there, Miss Lisa. Okay. You got this. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, so how can I get in touch with Melanie and Stacy off of here to talk to them? How can I reach out to them?
Here in the private chat, they will they can send you their email and their phone or whatever they're comfortable with. If you are on the chat, on the webinar chat in the Zoom, they can type it in here, and then you guys just communicate to each other. And even in Facebook, if you saw us in Facebook, go ahead and just reach out to them. They're very good. Stacy, she said, I work with Stacy, and we are working together to start her own business there in Morristown, and we'll go from there.
So Stacy Miller and Melanie.
There you go. Melanie already posted her email in the chat box here.
There we go. I was trying to figure out how to do that, and I was like, let me get paper, but I see it now on the chat.
You're so new school, Stacy. Lisa, look at that, Lisa.
I'm showing
Stacy wanted to put a paper in the screen. And look at how Melanie was so awesome. She typed it in there. You would think Stacy would figure that out.
Me, I consider it being a therapist, maybe just improvising.
There you go, Stacy.
I'm on chat now.
What Stacy did, she improvised and found a way, but somebody did it better. Look, Melanie did it. All right.
Now I have to figure out how to chat you. Oh, there you are.
There you go. All right. If you can see that, Miss Lisa, Melanie put down her email here. And then also Brenda, her email is also there. She's the one in Texas, I believe. She has like 2 or 3 Airbnb in her backyard. So the best concept for you, obviously, for now is like what Miss Melanie and Stacy's doing. So that will be the fastest and easiest way for you to be able to make money out of your place.
Beautiful. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Well, and I just want to give a bit of advice, because you were saying you were wanting to go, kind of attract travel nurses and that kind of stuff. So if you're going to be in an area, there's some, and I feel free to contact me. I'll give you a couple of this, like the Facebook groups, it's called like the Gypsy Nurse, and they have a housing section, because I'm actually looking to possibly get another place just, to use for this way. But look on there, especially if whatever city you're planning on moving to, and look where people are asking for housing. So look where they're trying to see where they're going to be working. So they'll post up and they'll be like, hey, I'm coming to Houston, Texas. I'm going to be working at whatever hospital, what housing's available. So what that's, especially if you don't have a specific area or exact address where you're going to be moving to, look where the need is. And that's where I'd recommend trying to get a place, or get it within a certain, couple miles of a hospital that hires a lot of travelers, because that's going to be really, something they're going to be looking for, because especially for travel nurses, they usually have to be within a certain 10 or 15 mile radius of the hospital for when they're on call. So you can't be too far out, because they're not going to come, because they have to be close enough to be on call. So just if those are ways, especially if you're going from scratch and you don't have a place already, that's what I'd recommend of looking for a place.
A great tip. Thank you.
One thing I want to add too is that, well, first of all, absolutely, we have you down on our prayer list as well. So, because again, we started our Airbnb due to mine and my daughter's health conditions that we knew we needed to supplement, not only the cost of everything, but, and unfortunately I was one of the ones furloughed. And so now we are facing, that I'm probably not going back to work at the hospital, So anyway, but you definitely are in our prayers. But another thing you can do to not make the search for the house so precise and detailed, think about maybe RVs that might be at a cheap buy, and you can kind of take it with you. And that way it's also a little bit of a smaller space. You don't have to clean it, clean as big of a space, or pay anyone to do it. But also you can kind of take it with you and say, hey, I'm on here. And again, yes, like Dr. Chua was saying, is that the technology it takes a little bit to figure it out, but it's pretty well through it. So you can change that and everything. So that may be a cheaper, less detailed way to go. But again, if you come in, like Melanie was saying, if you can find one just like that within those areas, absolutely. And reach out to like the different universities that are nearby for occupational physical therapy, things like that too, and say, hey, I've got an Airbnb for the students that, because I know they're doing that a lot too. They're trying to send students across the U.S. now to get way more opportunities. I know when I was in school, not telling how many years ago.
Probably like 2 years ago.
I wish, but they kept us close, but now they're realizing, whoa, we've got to really get you out. So that may be helpful. You can be like, oh, well, hey, I'll be here. So
there you go.
That's a great
There
idea.
you go. Well, thank you very much, ladies, for helping our friend Lisa here. So thank you very much for all the connection. This is what we're here for. This is what the ACG is group for, whatever group you're at or whatever group we're streaming this in our podcast, networking with different people. So Brenda, you're going to say something?
Just to add on a little bit to the trailer thing, like I am not super mechanical. I am not like fix it woman, yet I have all this vintage stuff that is super old. And so I basically found, like for these trailers, he's a mobile home or an RV mechanic, and he just comes and he'll fix anything on wheels. And so that's sort of his, wheelhouse instead of like a house, fixer-upper guy. And so it's been great because, checking out mechanical systems and stuff, or upgrading hot water heaters, taking propane systems out, whatever, he's been able to do that. And it hasn't been insanely expensive either. And my trailers, I was telling Mike, I've got both trailers for $2,500.
Yep.
Like, now
it's a no-brainer there, ladies.
It's cost more.
Probably swipe it with your credit card.
I bought one off eBay and I bought off one.
See, eBay, literally. Oh gosh, eBay is your friend. My wife sells stuff on eBay, so.
It was in Wisconsin at a fish camp. I don't know, but the older the trailer, obviously, the more, that's why I just kind of have it set up for weekend use. But, but any obstacle that comes your way, there's a workaround. There's somebody, if you ask, who would be good at this. It's just like finding a handyman or someone who does good work at the house. And then it just kind of runs on its own for a little while. So,
you know what? That is so true. I like what Brenda mentioned about, finding a way. And we as therapists, whether you're PT, OT, speech, or whether you're PTA or a CODA, we're like that. We're innately like that. That's our nature, finding a way. We're always finding a way. So, for example, we're looking at a patient, for example, as they're walking, they're limping. In your head, you're always thinking, oh, what's wrong with this patient? Is it the hip flexors, or is it weak abductors, or is it because of the AFO, or is it the ankle limitation, or whatever? Is it the brain problem or whatever? And you know what? Same thing when you're starting a business. Same thing with you're finding an Airbnb. That's how you want to do. And of course, look at what Brenda mentioned. She looked for that certain expert when it comes to her situation. Same thing with us therapists. I'm a PT, obviously. if I have a problem when it comes to ADLs, I don't deal with it. Yes, I can probably, but do I do it? No, I refer it to an OT. If they're swallowing problems, I mean, obviously, I can, tell them do some strengthening of the sternocleidomastoid, chin tucks, or whatever. But do I do it? No. I refer them to speech therapists. And same thing when you're starting your own small little business. And we're not asking you to open up a big fancy hotel like a Trump Tower or whatever. Start small. If you can start small with your one little room, and then bam, go from there. If there's any problems, look for somebody. Reach out to Melanie, reach out to Stacy, to Brenda, and that's the beauty of this. So, okay, Tara, are you gonna talk with us today, or are you also one of the panelists? But no. All right. While we're waiting for Tara's answer, I just want to give a special shout out for those people who are watching. I know Cindy's watching, and my classmate Carter. And Gwen, she mentioned here, my neighbor here in little old Paxton, Illinois, house done is Airbnb for more than a few years. Now she bought 3 little properties, which were on the foreclosure list for pennies on the dollar. Oh, yep. We are 30 miles from the big town of Champaign. It's crazy how much short-term, long-term guests she had consistently over the last decade. Imagine that. Even though it's far from a bigger city, she's able to do that. So there you go. And then Mindy said, there you go. Hey, Mindy, good morning. And Belissa, there you go. And my classmates, Philip and Owen. All right. I know, any last parting words for our audience? I'm gonna call you again, Miss Melanie, Stacy, and Brenda. Any last parting wisdom, how we can start it? I know there's so much stuff that we need to do it, but how can we start? Where do we start? I mean, do we start with the app? Do we start with our office, or with the room? Where do we start? I mean, in some wisdom here, I'm gonna start with Miss Melanie.
I think it's basically you need to determine what your audience or your target people that you're trying to get is. So, depending on where you are, I mean, if you're out in the country, you're going to want to kind of decorate it and make it something that's people are going to want to come. I know I travel a lot and I use a lot of Airbnbs, and I'm always looking for something that looks different. That's something like, otherwise I could just go to a hotel. So let's find something that is decorated and interesting. And I've stayed in RVs. I've stayed in like these little shed things that have been redone, or these mini little cabins, and it's just different. So I'm willing to pay a little extra because of the experience. So make it an experience, especially if you're getting people just for a couple of days. Like me here in Scottsdale, mine, I just advertise that location. You can walk to Old Scottsdale. You can, we've got 2 pools in the complex, a gym. I mean, so the amenities that are already here is what I advertise. So I don't, my place is clean, and it's, just kind of decorated for, kind of an upscale condo kind of feel. So I don't have to do anything else. But if I was somewhere that maybe doesn't have the amenities and people coming for that reason, then do something unique or different, or something like the vintage, RV thing she's doing. That's awesome, because that's, that's where I would go, because like I said, you can go to a hotel otherwise if it's just kind of bland. So that would be my recommendation, of pick your space, know your audience or who you're trying to attract, and then, build it from there.
Oh, wow. That is such a very powerful value bombs there, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you heard it, ACG Alternative Careers Group. She mentioned about finding that niche, making it different. That student that rented an Airbnb here, the theme is more like a Elvis Presley theme, because we're here in Memphis, and he came from California. He came and then obviously drove all the way down here to where am I? Tennessee, and it's all Memphis theme. There was some little Memphis Elvis Presley car and everything inside the house. It was like full of Elvis theme. And that's what you want to have, like what Miss Melanie said, finding that specific niche. How can you make it different? How can you make it really, really different from other Airbnb, other hotels? And if it's just the same, might as well stay in a hotel, right? And you know what? Same thing with our profession. what is your specific niche? In my case, my niche, and Stacy and our niche is actually dementia. And Brenda, I know, is I forgot, manual therapy. That's her niche. Melanie is actually doing whatever, computer stuff already. And you have to find that specific niche. Guess what? If you're going to be a generalist, you're not serving anybody. You have to be specific. And that's what we even teach in our course, the mentor course, MENTOR. You have to find that specific niche. In that way, you could serve that audience well. Because if you're serving everyone, you're not serving anybody. All right. I'm going to call on, go ahead, Miss Brenda.
Well, I just put in the comments too, like, I feel like your listing photos say a lot, even if I'm not really like a photographer. I mean, you can hire someone who does listing photos, like for real estate, because they'll have kind of that fisheye lens or different stuff. Trailers are kind of hard to get good lighting and like, wow, because you like have this much room,
Yeah.
And so I've just used apps. Lightroom and Bright and Airy are presets that you can just have on your phone. And they basically, you take the photo with your iPhone and then you go into that app and hit the preset, and it makes it look consistent
fancier
and brighter and, a little more, not like a shadowy, darker photo.
Mm-hmm.
And so I actually had a guy who's a photographer stay in the Glamper, and he was like, can I take some pictures? And I was like, sure, because I'm just using apps and presets. And he's like, but I booked with you based on your photos. So I think the more, because people don't really know, even if it is like a very stock, standard room, if the lighting is good or the picture, that's what they're going off of on the app is, does this look inviting? So I try and take pictures of a fire in the fire pit, not just the empty fire pit, or,
you know what? Yeah.
That makes you act like maybe you could see yourself there.
That is such a very
powerful that
tip.
helps.
That is such a very powerful tip, ladies and gentlemen. Making sure your listing is actually inviting. The picture paints 1,000 words. Is that how you say it in English? Picture paints 1,000 words, and first impressions last. And if you're providing a good impression on your picture or on your listing in Airbnb or whatever, guess what? The clients or your customer will be, oh, I want to stay here. And imagine, hotels are like that. I don't know if you've seen, when you go to a website and a hotel, I go to Expedia or whatever. Oh, this hotel is good. It looks good in their room. I can see myself, sleeping in that room and looking left and right there. So same thing when you're posting. So thank you for sharing that Lightroom app and Light and Air presets. So wow, that is amazing. That is amazing. How about you, Stacy? Any last parting wisdom for our audience in ACG?
Yeah. So 2 things. As far as the technology goes, I found it easier to start with a computer and just Airbnb.com, VRBO.com. It just kind of opens up everything. It makes it easier to do all your options. And then after that, to organize and schedule and all that stuff, you can have the app on your phone. But to start it, I found the computer to be much easier. And it walks you through everything. It allows you to click on, I allow this, I don't allow this kind of thing. Like we do state that, we don't have pets. And it's more so, we love pets. We have dogs and everything, but the destruction sometimes that they can cause kind of thing. So you have that option to do, but technology wise, I found it easier to start on the computer and then switch to the app. Now I love that you gave those app ideas, Brenda, because I'm going to do that. However, I did start with and they're still on there, just my simple cell phone pics. But now I see, I'm going to try those apps and see if we can make it, brighter and all that cool stuff. And then tagging on to what Melanie was saying, as I said before, we kind of make ours like a fun, sporty area, or just a fun, here's some other things to do in case it's raining outside kind of thing, or to attract children or families kind of thing. But also where we have so many areas that you can hike, and that Gatlinburg is just, an hour down the way, stuff like that. I made sure to go and pick up brochures of all the attractions around. And we have a thing down there that has so many attractions.
Yeah.
And then we also have maps of the different hiking areas. And then also all the restaurants around. Went and got their menus and such, and kept those down there, just so, which they can always ask me, but just kind of having all those available. And then if we're anywhere that there's a recent coupon for an attraction, I make sure to grab them so I can put that down there and say, hey, you can go do this. Yes, absolutely, kind of like Melanie was saying, look at what you have around you and see where you can grab people. And try to help them to see what else there is going on. A lot of times they're here for their own thing, but, sometimes, like I said, a rainy day kind of ruin things. And so, well, let's go do this. So.
Yep. Oh, wow. Well, those are very, very good tips. Thank you for sharing, Stacy, Melanie, and Brenda. Again, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. If you have any questions, reach out to all these three beautiful ladies here. And again, thank you very much, Miss Brenda, Miss Stacy, Miss Michelle, and Miss Lisa. Reach out to all three ladies here. Connect with them. And that way, they have very valuable resources there, and they could probably walk you through how to do it. And then this recording will be here in our group. And Brenda's Instagram says glamping in comfort. There you go, glamping in comfort. And again, thank you very much. If you are, again, still here in our video, thank you very much for watching. And we appreciate you. Any last parting wisdom for us? I know you gave us some tips. Any special encouragement, Melanie, Stacy, and Brenda?
No, I mean, just like I said, I've had great experiences. I haven't had a bad one yet. And like I said, I was a traveler, so I actually have a tax home. My mother's home, I bought it in Pennsylvania, and I don't want to live in Pennsylvania at this point. But so this is actually a true, second home for me, rental, kind of investment property. So, I bought it for that reason, and I'm most likely going to get another one. Not even here. I'm actually looking in another part of Arizona where I know that I've seen that there's very minimal housing available for these travel nurses. The rentals are just very minimal. I see them all the time popping up that they can't find anything. So I'm actually looking to actually buy a place there just for this reason, because, that's your idea. For me, especially, my ideal is the longer I can keep people here, the less I have to worry about renting them. So, like I said, I've got this guy, he's been here since January, and I'm like, you can stay as long as you want. You pay me every month. And like, he's, quiet and cleans, and I'm not, I share a kitchen. Like I said, mine's a little different. They're literally like a roommate for me. But I haven't had any problems, and the travel nurses have been great because, and I was a traveler. So, I mean, they don't track your place. They're not, and they're here. They don't know anybody. So it's not like they invite people over for a party or anything, because they hardly know anybody. And when they're not working, they're out traveling and seeing all the different places around, my area. They go to, Flagstaff and Sedona on weekends. So they're really not here even that much. And so for me, it's not a big deal having someone in my home, as a kind of a roommate situation. But, definitely keep all that, depending on what you're trying to attract as far as, doing Perfect. It. But like I said, for me, I've had great experiences. I'm like, I wish I would have done this sooner because like I said, I got this great condo in Scottsdale that someone else is paying for. I've not had to, basically they cover my mortgage since I bought it. So
it's true. Can't beat that. Well, I don't know if you were listening again, ACG. She mentioned about going to an area because of that group that she has. She's going to that area where she's going to buy or get a property there. Imagine that, finding that problem and then finding that solution there. And that's what we want you to be, Alternative Careers Group. She has found that problem And guess what? She's addressing that problem. She's going to take care of that need there. And whether it's a job that you're looking for, a career, or a business, you find that problem and find that solution to it. So thank you, Miss Melanie, for sharing that. Stacy, any last parting special encouragement for our group?
Yes, I just, I'm a true woman. My mouth keeps going, so I'm sorry, but I keep coming up with things. Another thing too, that I just want to point out, their customer service is wonderful. Any problem that we've had or questions, they've gotten right on it. There was a time that we did have to cancel due to a family death. And so, we needed to go, and they were great. That you called them and they said, they did kind of the searching around to find that place for the people, and it worked out perfect. So they do try to help like crazy. And they do work very hard at protecting you. And so if for instance, like somebody was not kind of who they said they were, or they break your rules, because you can set up your certain house rules. And we had that happen. We did not, there was a kind of a party going on kind of thing, and it was not allotted. And so you can report that user, or if there's anything unsafe. So they protect you monetarily and through safety, things like that. You're protected that way. The good thing about kind of that I like with the nurses and the therapy students, that they're already background checked too, or else they wouldn't be in their professions. So if you do want to kind of stick with that, that kind of is your extra protection. The other thing really quick too, for saving some money, what I did when I knew that we were going to be doing an Airbnb, and I still do it. If I go anywhere, or like a yard sale or a thrift store, and see those things on sale. For instance, if you have a bargain hunt around you, or anytime that I always go straight to the clearance racks. I know where the clearance racks are at Target, Walmart, any of the things. Get stuff on sale. I was able to get at Bargain Hunt brand new sheets, $3. So if you know that, Lisa, if you know that you're wanting to do this and things like that, if you're out and about just getting groceries and you see washcloths on sale for like $1, get them, because you can either use them or, and as far as yard sales go, what I found you can do is you can ask the person at the yard sale, can you please just write on this piece of paper that I bought this for this amount, signed and dated, and that will work for your taxes. So you can still get that reimbursement back. Utilize that the summertime that's coming up with all the yard sales to, if you see anything, decorative things, anything that would go towards there, get it. If you see it at $1, heck yeah. So, and then, like I said, I utilize a lot of white so I can just bleach it. So same thing with dishes and things like that. A lot of times at yard sales is exactly what you're going to find are going to be dishes and things. So it would be the perfect time to get it. And again, just have that person write on that piece of paper, and that counts for your taxes. So
cool. Well, thank you, Stacy. Appreciate you. And last but not least, Miss Brenda Bryson.
Well, because
the glamping and comfort lady.
Yes, I have I have a separate business set up for it's an LLC, and so the everything I buy.
Before you keep going, do we need to get an LLC if you're just renting a room, or is it just through? Okay, there you go. Okay.
This just allows me to run everything through as a business expense. So I have a separate bank account, and basically, whether it's tree trimming or furnishing the glamper or the septic or whatever I'm buying for that, that then is a business expense. And so I have to pay for a separate tax return, but I'd rather pay the accountant than, Uncle Sam more money. And so, but that way I feel like I do a lot of leasehold improvements. The backyard, gets better, but it's funded basically by the Glamperhood.
Mm-hmm. The Glamperhood.
The Glamperhood. But I'm with you. I mean, I buy stuff at thrift stores. I do, as a clinic owner, I use Comfy sheets, COMPHY. They're like high-end spa sheets. And they're kind of
Can you
expensive.
share that? What?
COMPHY. I'll put it in chat.
COMPH. Okay. Comfy sheet. Okay.
And
Yeah.
you can as a PT or as an owner, you can get them at wholesale. And you could sell them to people. I mean, like spas, high-end places have these sheets. So that's something I do is I put really good sheets in the trailer because I like to sleep on good sheets, and they're almost indestructible. I mean, I don't have to mess with a lot of replacements. I have 2 sets. So when people check out, I put on the new set. That gives me time to do laundry and do the other set. And I try and have them all be the same color so I can interchange. All my sheets are gray. All my towels are white. And so it doesn't really matter if this pillowcase goes in whatever trailer because they're all the same color. Or if someone does something crazy, I can switch that out in a short amount of time instead of like, I have to order this or I have to go to the store because I'm not really close to a lot of things. So, but that's been kind of an easy, and some people notice sheets, some people don't notice sheets at all. But yeah, and I think meeting the people helps, and living on site makes it easier than just, if it was a fully remote setup where you never saw people, that would be a little different. But I feel like since I can see them, but I'm not like close. I usually try and say hi or something. And I feel like people treat your space a little bit better when they kind of know you're closer.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
well, I'm looking at the Comfy website. I think I'm going to buy some for my massage table.
No, they are great for the clinic because they really last. And of course, my whole clientele is chronic pain and women. And all these women are always, ooh, I like these sheets, So
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm like that too. When you go to a hotel, I'm like, oh gosh, I like this. Sometimes I'm tempted to steal it.
Buying sheets for the clinic is crazy because some of them are so wrinkly and some of them are so like they have a lot of lint, and then you're always dusting, and I don't know, like it shouldn't be hard to buy sheets. And these aren't cheap, but they're supposed to last at least 1,000 washes. And so they don't really stain. I've not really had any trouble with them. I can sanitize them. So
cool.
It's come in handy. But yeah, but from a tax point, if you can think of it that way, like you may be actually doing stuff to your house, but it's considered an improvement or a tax write-off. So
that's so true. That's so true. Well, again, thank you very much, ladies. I appreciate you. Miss Lisa, thank you very much for also joining over. I hope we were able to help you a little bit. And then, like what I said, reach out to Miss Melanie, Stacy, and Brenda. They're always very willing to help. You just hang in there. And then for those people who are watching, again, thank you very much. We appreciate you. Before we let you go, always remember the word FAST. FAST. Why? Because speed wins. Speed wins. You want to take action fast because you want to take action fast. So letter F, find friends that will push you to your next level because you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with. So right now I'm hanging out with Miss Melanie, with Stacy, with Miss Lisa and Brenda. Guess what? This is going to be me. In one way or another, I'm probably going to be able to open up my own Airbnb, and I will be. The student reached out to me yesterday, and he said, "Hey, sir, I need a space to rent, or a room, or a house to rent." Bam, and that's the opportunity there. So just like when you're hanging out in a barber shop, you're hanging out in a parlor, one way or another, you're going to have your hair cut. So whoever you're hanging out with, guys, that's you. That's your average. So find friends that will push you to your next level. And letter A, you got to learn how to take action, ladies and gentlemen. If you're watching here, take action. It doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, I'm going to tell you now, I'm probably going to say Miss Melanie and Miss Stacy's and Miss Brenda's setup, it's not perfect. You know what's perfect in our eyes? The hotels. Miss Melanie's house is probably, it's a 2-bedroom apartment or a condo. I'm sure it's not perfect. I mean, obviously it's perfect for her, but it's not really, everything is, that's There's no spa in there. There's no one-on-one concierge guy, bringing whatever. Or Stacy's room that maybe have some pool table or whatever, but does it have a jacuzzi? Does it have a jacuzzi? Stacy, no. So it's not perfect. Same thing with Brenda. Imagine she bought a 2,500 what you call that camper. Do you think it's perfect? No. The key here is taking action, ladies and gentlemen. If you have an extra room, if you have an opportunity, if you have a problem to solve, guess what? Take advantage of it. Take action. And next letter S. Shoot for the moon. Keep shooting for the moon. Why? Because when you miss it, you're going to be landing with the stars. I fail all the time. English. I'm running out of English, ladies and gentlemen. I fail all the time. Yeah. The other day, when I called an assisted living facility, they rejected me. I feel like I was rejected. They're rejecting Mike Chua. I'm helping their facility or whatever. They rejected me. I'm sure Miss Melanie and Miss Stacy and Miss Brenda and even Miss Lisa, they've encountered some rejections in life, but it doesn't matter how many rejections, how many failures, how many setbacks that you've encountered. It's how many times you get up and do this all over again. Ladies and gentlemen, we are all therapists in this group. We were made to win. We were made to push forward. Guess what? When your patient fails, when your patient falls, do you stop? No. You actually pick them up again in therapy, right? When your patient actually gets discouraged and they can't get out of the chair or they have weakness or whatever, do we stop providing therapy? No, we actually encourage them. Hey, let's do this. Let's get out of the bed. Let's keep pushing forward. And same thing when you're starting a business. Same thing when you're trying to do this in whatever aspect in life. You just keep pushing forward. There's this Japanese proverb that says, fall 7 times, stand up 8. The grammar isn't bad, but it's bad. It's from Japanese. Guess what? But you just keep pushing forward, ladies and gentlemen. Last but not the least, letter T. I know you're tired, ladies and gentlemen. Letter T. Not time out, right? But teach it. Why? Because when you hear it, you forget. When you see it, you remember. But when you're actually teaching it, you're actually understanding it more. And that's what Brenda, Stacy, and Melanie has done for us today. They've taught us how to find ways how to start our Airbnb business. Again, thank you very much, Miss Melanie, Stacy, Brenda, Lisa. Thank you very much for coming over. I appreciate you. Before I let you go, I'm going to play this music. In that way, there is some sort of a music that we leave. Again, thank you. Appreciate you. You have a good day. Happy weekend, ladies. I hope you enjoyed the show. Check out our website at drmikechua.com or alternativehealthcarecareers.com for more information. Again, ACG, be awesome, be great, be excellent. Thank you, and hope to see you on our next episode. Goodbye.